Ang ganitong pag-edit at hindi simpleng pagkakamali lamang. Bagkus isa pong buktot na planadong pagkilos. Ginoong Pangulo, kahit pa marunong akong mag-splice o mag-edit, kailanman ay hindi ko ituturo kung ito ay gagamitin sa kamalian na magdudulot ng kalituhan o kapahamakan sa aking kapwa.
Muling bumuelta si Senador Rodante Marcoleta laban kay Senate President Pro Tempore Ping Lacson kaugnay ng usapin sa Kalayaan Island Group. Pinalaga ng senador ang anyay cheap fakes at edited na video na ginamit laban sa kanya.
Sa privilege speech ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta sa sesyon ng Senado nitong Martes, muling sumentro ang kanyang mga pahayag sa isyu ng Kalayaan Island Group. Kasunod ito ng umunay splice video na ipinost kamakailan sa social media account ni Senate Pro Tempore Ping Lacson. Pinalaga ni Marcoleta ang anyay cheap fakes at edited the video na ginamit upang palabasin na nais itong isuko ang KIJ na bahagi ng teritoryo ng Pilipinas. Dagdag pa niya, dinisenyo umano ni Lacson ang video upang ilihis ang kontekstong gusto niyang sabihin. Pero sabi ni Marcoleta na hindi niya gustong isuko ang Kalayaan Island Group kundi para lang linawin ang sakop ng exclusive economic zone ng bansa. Question din ni Marcoleta ang intensyon o layunin ni Senator Ping Lacson at tinanong kung bakit umano kailangang baluktutin ang kanyang mga pahayag upang palabasing mali ito. Nanindigan naman si Senator Marcoleta na kailanman ay hindi niya isusuko ang anumang teritoryo ng bansa. Malinaw anyang layunin ng senador na matalakay ang batas para sa pambansang interes.
Colleague from Tarlac and Pampanga, no other than Senator Rodante Marcoleta.
Senator Dante Marcoleta is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise today on a matter of personal and collective privilege to clarify and stand for the truth amidst the barrage of twisted narratives thrown upon me these days. My position has always been clear. We will protect what is rightfully ours and firmly uphold our rights under international law. Any statement alleging that I said, suggested, or implied that we should give up the Kalayaan Island Group is completely false. I have never wavered on this principle, Mr. President, and I will not allow misinformation to distort what we all profess to die for. Cheap fakes. These are deceptively altered contents created through basic editing techniques. May appear simple, yet their consequences are profound. With nothing more than selective splicing, omission, or rearrangement, narratives can be distorted, reputations can be damaged, and truth itself can be compromised. It is within this context that I seek to clarify the record and confront the dangers posed by deliberate misrepresentation. Mr. President, being one of the neophyte senators in this august chamber, I brought not only my passion to serve our countrymen, but also my hard-earned integrity as a public servant. I know for a fact that government officials should not be onion-skinned. At tunay naman pong isinabuhay ko ng maging matibay ang loob ko. Dahil sa ilang dekada ko nang nasa serbisyo, talaga naman pong samut-saring batikos at pangungutya na rin ang aking natanggap. Mr. President, criticisms per se are understandable, but intentional distortion of statements is clearly unacceptable. On 4 February 2026, the Commission on Appointments held a hearing for the confirmation of the ad interim appointments of the members of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. During the said confirmation hearing, I underscored that the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone, EEZ, and the West Philippine Sea, WPS, are legally distinct from each other, emphasizing that the 2016 arbitral award clarified only the country's EEZ and continental self-entitlements and did not rule on the issue of WPS. I further explained that certain Philippine-occupied features in the KIG lie beyond the EEZ. And because their enclave territorial seas are included in the West Philippine Sea as defined by RA 12064, their inclusion in the plotting of the WPS map could be an insurmountable task. Within this context, I gave a hypothetical way out about giving up the KIG, which was only meant to illustrate the legal obstacles and physical difficulty of delineating the West Philippine Sea that will encompass waters of the KIG in the high seas, highlighting the dilemma rather than advocating abandonment. Then, on 5 February 2026, one of our colleagues in this chamber caused the publication through his official social media account of a spliced and manipulated compilation of statements I have made during the aforesaid Commission on Appointments hearing. The said post presented a video compilation at sabay-sabay po nating panoorin ito. Patayan natin dito for something that is not even within our EEZ. Ang gawin natin po para madali, i-give up natin yung KIG.
Nag-govern pa rin yung international law. So atin yung Kalayaan Island Group.
We call now on Captain Jess B. Pilar, Philippine Navy, the most senior among the officers now under consideration.
Meron po tayong mga isla na occupied natin ngayon. Ito yung Kalayaan Island Group. Ngunit, they are way beyond our EEZ. Wala doon sa limit ng ating exclusive economic zone.
Being a member of the armed forces, our seas, our rights, and our future, and we just stick to what is legally ours, what is stated in our law, sir.
I'd like to congratulate you for responding very well to the questions of the Honorable Marcoleta.
At first glance, Mr. President, the video may appear to convey precisely the narrative it was designed to suggest. However, that impression is fundamentally misleading. Recognizing the implications of such a portrayal, I formally wrote to said colleague and sought clarification as to the purpose and intent of publishing a spliced video which seemed to have deliberately tweaked the import of my statements and portrayed in a manner as though I was advocating the surrender of a portion of our territory. Ayan po yung aking sulat, Mr. President, a one-page letter. Ayan naman po yung 3 pahina na sagot sa akin, Mr. President. In his reply letter, he characterized my concerns in this manner, and I quote, "Allegations that the video excerpt was deliberately crafted to mislead or that it was altered to deceive are serious in nature and demand substantiation. None has been provided." I strongly agree. I strongly disagree, Mr. President. The substantiation lies in the record itself. The official transcript and the unedited proceedings plainly demonstrate how my statements were taken out of context and presented in a manner that materially altered their meaning. Ilalantad ko po ito maya-maya ng konti, Mr. President. He further stated, and I quote, "For your information, I do not exercise editorial control nor oversee the day-to-day uploading of content on the said page, which is maintained by my office as part of our regular public information efforts with materials drawn from official and publicly verifiable proceedings." Again, I strongly disagree, Mr. President. Even if he does not exercise direct editorial control, responsibility still lies with his office for ensuring that the materials they publish accurately reflect the context and intent of the proceedings. Hindi po pwedeng sabihin, hindi ako ang direktang gumawa. This is a clear attempt to shift one's responsibility. So stated by our colleague in his letter. Sa batas at prinsipyo ng pamamahala, may tinatawag na command responsibility. Hindi maaaring maghugas ng kamay ang operator ng taxi or jeepney kapag nakasagasa ng kanyang driver sa ilalim ng batas at ng prinsipyo ng vicarious liability. Ang operator pa rin ang nananagot dahil siya ang nagmamay-ari ng prangkisa at namamahala ng mga sasakyan. Ganon din ang may-ari ng karinderya. Kapag may na-food poison, dahil sa pagkaing inihain, hindi niya maaaring ituro ang kusinera at sabihing siya ang nagluto. Sa mata ng batas, ang may-ari ng karinderya ang may pananagutan sa kalidad at kaligtasan ng pagkain. Sa paghahalin tulad po, Mr. President, sa kaso ng driver at kusinera, kahit ang lahat ay nangyari nang hindi sinasadya, nananagot pa rin ang may-ari. Sa kaso ng splice video, na maliwanag namang sinadya, lalong dapat managot ang may-ari, lalo pa kung siya ay talaga namang sangkot sa paggawa nito. Lastly, said colleague maintained that the video merely reflects what was posted in the Commission's official broadcast, and I quote, "Be that as it may, an objective viewing of the subject video would show that it is merely an excerpt from the official live broadcast of the Commission on Appointments hearing." Again, I strongly disagree, Mr. President. The truth is, it is a corrupted excerpt taken from the official live broadcast of the Commission on Appointments, presented in a way that selectively edited or rearranged my words for the purpose of distorting the meaning and misleading the people. Mr. President, his explanations do not address the central issue. The concern is not the source of the footage, but the manner in which it was spliced and deceptively presented. Appearances, as we know, can be engineered. The compilation was not an honest representation of the proceedings. What was shown was not the substance of the discussion, but manufactured impression. One that rearranged fragments of my remarks to create a meaning I neither intended nor expressed. Mr. President, kung ang simpleng pahayag nga ay nabibigyan ng iba't ibang interpretasyon, depende kung sino ang nakakarinig. Paano pa kaya ang pinagsama-sama at pinagtagpi-tagping piraso ng salaysay? Hindi ba't mas maraming malilihis sa tunay na konteksto at mensahe na nais maiparating? These statements were maliciously lifted, compiled, and used without consideration of its context. The complete transcript of the hearing would clearly show that there was no intent to surrender our rightful territory. As I previously said, it was only to illustrate the Herculean task of delimiting the West Philippine Sea in relation to the enclave territorial seas of each of the occupied and claimed features in the Kalayaan Island Group, most of which lie in the high seas. Mr. President, in the interest of transparency and fairness, I will be presenting the original video excerpts from which the circulated clips were taken, alongside the edited compilation that was posted on our colleague's official page, and the pages of the transcript where it was lifted from. By laying them side by side, we and the public will clearly see how particular statements were extracted from different portions of the hearing and rearranged in sequence to construct a narrative that did not exist in the actual exchange. The comparison will demonstrate in concrete terms how selective cutting and reordering of remarks can transform a hypothetical illustration into what falsely appears to be a categorical position. In doing so, I seek clarity so that the record may speak for itself, complete and unaltered. pagpapatayan natin dito for something that is not even within our EEZ. Ang gawin natin po para madali, i-give up natin yung KIG. Ano ba talaga ipagpapatayan natin dito? We will offer our lives, including the lives of our children, and to die for it, for something that is not even within our EEZ. Ang gawin natin po para madali, i-give up natin yung KIG. Then, mako-coordinate na natin lahat. But until and unless nandun yung KIG, wala nga po nasa labas po ng ating exclusive economic zone. Paano po malalagay sa entire West Philippine Sea? Mr. Chair, kaya po yun ang dahilan, hindi po tayo makagawa ng mapa para sana ma-submit na natin. And in our lifetime, we will able to see doon sa entire stretch ng South China Sea, lalabas doon ang West Philippine Sea. Ang video na nasa kaliwa, Mr. President, ay nagmula sa Facebook page ng ating colleague. Yung nasa kanan po ay ang original na video. Mapapansin po ninyo, ang pinagkunan po niya, pinagsama-samang salita upang mabuo ang isang pangungusap. Katulad po ang nakalagay sa yan pong nakikita ninyo. Yung kulay pink po sa baba, nakalagay, Senator Marcoleta, ano ba talaga ang pinagpapatayan natin dito for something that is not even within our EEZ? Ang gawin po natin para madali, i-give up natin yung KIG. Tingnan po ninyo yung mga phrases, mga parirala, mga salita na nakukulayan ng yellow. Doon po niya kinuha lahat yun at pinagdugtong-dugtong. Yung una pong nasa yellow ay page 22, line 9. Yung CCA live timestamp po ay 10649 to 10652. Yung pangalawa pong nasa yellow at yung pangatlo page 22, lines 10 to 12. CA live timestamp 10658, 10704. Diyan po ninyo makikita na pinagdugtong-dugtong lang po ang aking sinabi para sa ganon makapagporma ng isang pangungusap na mag-iiba ang kanyang kahulugan. Ang pahayag kong ito, Mr. President, ay matatagpuan sa page 22, line 9 at lines 10 to 12 ng CA transcript of stenographic notes noong ika-4 na Pebrero kung saan tinanong ko sila kung alam na ba natin ang ating coordinates sapagkat ang ating mga kasamaan sa armed forces ay nakikipagpatayan upang proteksyonan o protektahan ang ating teritoryo kahit na wala pa tayong kasiguraduhan sa hangganan nito.
Nag-govern pa rin yung international law. So atin yung Kalayaan Island Group. Nag-govern pa rin yung international law, di ba? This was made formal by the arbitral ruling. Di ba? So atin yung Kalayaan Island Group.
Yung nasa kaliwa po, ito po yung cheap fake. Yung nasa kanan, yan po yung original, Mr. President. Dito sa video clip na yan, ay makikita natin na ang ating kasamahan na sinasabi na international law pa rin daw ang nag-govern at sa atin pa rin ang Kalayaan Island Group na tila ba ay sagot niya sa aking naunang pahayag. Hindi po ito ang nangyari. Ayan po ang tunay na pagkakasabi, Mr. President. Yung pong nasa yellow uli, nasa page 28, line 6-7, CA live timestamp 11937 to 11939. Hanggang sa huling dilaw, Mr. President, page 28, line 8, CA live timestamp 11945, 1947. Binuo sa isang salita na nandun po sa pink para lang makakuha ang nag-govern pa rin ang international law, so atin ang Kalayaan Island Group. Ang pahayag niyang ito ay matatagpuan sa page 28, line 6-8, 6 to 8 ng TSN, kung saan tinanong niya si Captain Pilar kung alam ba niya ang Presidential Decree 1596. Slide po.
Meron po tayong mga isla na occupied natin ngayon. Ito yung Kalayaan Island Group. Ngunit, they are way beyond our EEZ. Wala doon sa limit ng ating exclusive economic zone.
Being a member of the armed forces, our seas, our rights, and our future. And we just stick to what is legally ours, what is stated in our law, sir.
The department believes that escalation, even in public messaging, should be undertaken only when it advances clear strategic objectives and the national interest. Ano pong strategic objective o national interest ang na-achieve natin sa ginawa ni Commodore Tariela na magpakita ng ganong mga statements at mga caricatures sa uncompromising at nakakahiyang paglalarawan sa kanilang head of state? What did we gain strategically in terms of national interest? Meron po ba?
Your Honor, I cannot answer on that.
Hindi, sa panukat mo lang.
Sir, being a member of the armed forces, we are voicing out the term our seas, our rights, and our future, and we just stick to what is being dictated in our what is legally ours and what is stated in our law, sir.
What is legally ours must be defended. Must be protected, and we should fight it out to the last drop of our blood.
Sir President, sa mga video clips naman
Meron
na yan,
po tayong mga isla na occupied natin ngayon. Ito yung Kalayaan Island Group. Alam na po ninyo yon. Meron tayong 4 na features in the Kalayaan Island Group. Ito po yung Pagasa, yung Parola, yung Kota at yung Lankiam. Captain, alam po ninyo yan. Incidentally, Mr. Chairman, itong 4 na features na occupied ng ating bansa, they are way beyond our EEZ. Wala po sila sakop ng EEZ. Alam po ba ninyo yon, Captain?
sa mga video clips na yan po, Mr. President, yan na po talaga nagkagulo-gulo. Ang mga pahayag kong ito ay matatagpuan sa page 19 at page 20 ng TSN, kung saan aking tinalakay ang Kalayaan Island Group at ang saklaw ng arbitral ruling. Ayan po yung mga salita na nasa nakukulayan ng kulay dilaw na kanilang pinagdugtong-dugtong para magawa po yung isang pangungusap na nandyan po sa pink color. Ayan po, yung page 19, line 58. Nandyan na naman po yung 3 nakakulay na mga pahayag ko at pagkatapos pinagdugtong-dugtong uli para makakuha ng isang salita na nakukulayan sa kulay rosas. Makikita natin kung paano po nila pinaghalo-halo ang mga pahayag, Mr. President. Some words taken from page 22 of the TSN, the others were from page 28 at another from page 19. Hindi lamang po yan, iba-iba rin ang pagkakasunod-sunod ng pahayag kong ito sa page 19 ng TSN. Merong nasa line 25, biglang pumunta sa line 21, tumalon sa lines 7 to 8 at nasa page 20 at muling bumalik sa lines 5 to 8 ng page 19.
Incidentally, Mr. Chairman, itong 4 na features na occupied ng ating bansa, they are way beyond our EEZ. Wala po sila sakop ng EEZ. Meron po tayong mga isla na occupied natin ngayon. Ito yung Kalayaan Island Group. Ngunit, they are way, way beyond the EEZ. Wala doon sa limit ng ating exclusive economic zone.
Being a member of the armed forces, RCs are rights and our future, and we just stick to what is legally ours, what is stated in our law, sir.
Napansin po ba ninyo, Mr. President? Doon sa original, yun po yung bandang kaliwa, at saka yung kanan, bandang kanan, nagsingit sila ng isang salita ng ngunit para pagdugtungin po ang isang statement. With the insertion of the word ngunit, what was supposed to be a mere informative statement on the arbitral award suddenly evoked a negative connotation because it was connected to the KID, somehow portraying as if I was asserting that we cannot exercise sovereignty over the features outside the EEZ. It created an unwarranted sense of contradiction or mischaracterization, distorting the legal point I intended to emphasize. Ayan po ang order of events, Mr. President. Doon sa version po na chip fake, ayan po yung 106.49 to 107.37. At ang timestamp po sa CA's live feed, 119.37, 119.47, 101.7 to 101.45, tsaka po yung 57, 51, and 59.16. Mr. President, malinaw sa slide na ito kung paanong pinag-iba-iba ang pagkakasunod-sunod ng mga video clips. Nagmula ang mga pahayag sa iba't ibang timestamps kung saan iba't iba rin ang pinupunto ng bawat isa. Bakit pa kailangang paghalu-haluin ang aking mga sinabi at sadyaing magsingit pa ng isang salita sa aking pahayag? Sa mismong pagmamaniobra na ito, malinaw na may layuning baluktutin ang simpleng kahulugan ng aking sinabi. Ang salitang ngunit na kanilang isiningit para dugtungan ang isang pangungusap ay malinaw na matatagpuan sa page 19 ng TSN. Ipinalalabas nilang ito'y tuloy-tuloy kong sinabi, gayong sa opisyal na record ay malinaw na magkakahiwalay ang aking mga pahayag. Ang ganitong pag-edit at hindi simpleng pagkakamali lamang, bagkus isa pong buktot na planadong pagkilos at tuwirang pagpapalit ng konteksto na nagpabago sa kahulugan ng aking mga ipinahayag. If we take into account the entirety of my discussion, Mr. President, the statements clearly express a theoretical choice, if only to illustrate the legal conundrum in connecting the maritime areas of the KIG features and at an advocacy of surrender, abandonment, or renunciation of any part of Philippine territory. But this was not the account in the edited material used as a contraption. Although the statements were indeed made during the hearing, the video he posted on his Facebook account was a spliced and reordered version that deliberately rearranged my remarks to cast me in a negative light. By selectively cutting, fragmenting, and reassembling portions of my statements out of their proper sequence and context, he fabricated a narrative that is intentionally deceptive. Sa mga slides na nakikita po natin, Mr. President, makikita rin natin kung paano umalingaw-ngaw ang epekto ng nasabing splice video sa iba't ibang TV networks, pahayagan sa social media, at sa mga kilalang personalidad sa politika. Mula sa isang inedit at pinagputol-putol na presentasyon, nabuo ang isang naratibong mabilis kumalat. Agad pinaniwalaan ng ilan at walang habas na ibinahagi nang hindi sinuri ang kabuuang konteksto ng aking mga pahayag. At noong ika-16 ng Pebrero 2026, kagaya po ng nakikita po nyo, muling naglathala ang nasabing colleague sa kanyang official website at sa kanyang Twitter account tungkol sa aking plano na pagsasampa ng ethics complaint na tila ba may pangungutyapa nang sabihin niyang hindi raw siya marunong mag-splice ng video at kung maaari ay turuan pa siya. Ayan po ang nilagay niya. Ang ganitong pahayag na wari pagbibiro ay isa lamang paraan ng pag-iwas, ngunit halata naman na ang paratang ay hindi naitanggi. Ginoong Pangulo, kahit pa marunong akong mag-splice o mag-edit, kailanman ay hindi ko ituturo kung ito ay gagamitin sa kamalian na magdudulot ng kalituhan o kapahamakan sa aking kapwa. Ang sabi nga niya, ang tama ay ipaglaban, ang mali ay labanan. From his own words, his own slogan, his own political battle cry, let us walk the talk, Mr. President. He did not stop at posting the splice and misleading video. He continued to publish and disseminate statements on the same issue, repeatedly insinuating that I intended to surrender a portion of the country's territory, portraying me as a villain and himself the hero. Ang kulit. In his interview with DCBB 594, February 5, 2026, posted on his official YouTube account, he once again talked about the same topic. Ito po ang sinabi niya. Nang narinig ko, sabi ni Senator Marcoleta, na ipamigay na lang natin, hindi ako nakapigil. Doon, kailangang liwanagin natin kasi atin yan. At may basihan kung bakit atin yan. Sabi niya, sa labas ng EEC, di ko matanggap yan kasi nandoon na may mga Pilipino sa Pag-asa Island. On February 7, 2026, sa nakikita nating social media post, ayan po, Mr. President. The same colleague once again utilized his official Facebook page, website, and other social media accounts and published an article discussing the Kalayaan Island Group, asserting that relinquishing it would be tantamount to surrendering the entire nation. Through this subsequent posting, he reinforced the same insinuation and misleading narrative previously advanced. A narrative anchored on a distorted interpretation of my statements rather than on the true record of the proceedings. This development, Mr. President, naturally raises serious questions. What objective is being served by repeatedly advancing this narrative? Bakit tila ako ang palagi niyang tinatarget? Ano ang tunay na layunin ng patuloy at piling pagtutok laban sa aking mga pahayag at paninindigan? Ano bang dahilan kinakailangan niyang baluktutin ang aking mga pahayag at ipilit ang isang salaysay na malinaw na taliwas sa aking tunay na paninindigan? Mr. President, truth cannot be distorted by editing, nor can integrity be blemished by manipulation. Every issue needing public discourse should start and end in floor debates in this chamber, not in the cover and comfort of partisan media. When statements are deliberately stripped of context and repackaged to mislead the public, the injury is not merely personal, it is institutional. It corrodes trust, distorts democratic debate, and undermines the very standards of fairness this chamber is duty-bound to uphold. I therefore place on record this demand for clarification, firm in the conviction that reasoned discussion must prevail over misrepresentation. Para sa kalaman ng lahat, falsification of a video recording the deliberate manipulation, alteration, or fabrication of a video output to deceive, misrepresent, or to create false evidence. Yung slide 25, please. Ayan po. Mr. President, these are not trivial matters. Legal repercussions can arise. For when public platforms such as Facebook and YouTube are used to amplify misrepresentations, the consequences extend beyond individual reputations and risk misleading the very people we are sworn to serve. Such acts may constitute violations of Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012, particularly under provisions of penalizing online libel and the spreading of false information through video forgery and tampering. Lest we forget, the sacred wordings of the PMA Honor Code and Honor System, so ingrained in the hearts of every cadet, are cast in stone. Let me quote this, Mr. President. The Honor Code is our pride as it is our heritage. We will hold its trust long after we have left the gray line. We will be guided by its principles of fearless truth regardless of consequence, a sine qua non in our profession of arms. Our code does not deviate from the universal concept of honor. It demands the truth, nothing else but the truth, both by act and implication. Each cadet becomes a zealous guardian to his earmark of the Corps and will report another or himself for a violation of honor. It is in keeping this priceless legacy from our predecessors that we seek to transmit it unblemished to the unending gray line. Mula sa PMA Code, Ginoong Pangulo, dalawa pa lang napaka-importanting tanong ang dapat masagot ng bawat kadete ng Philippine Military Academy. Una, do I intend to deceive? Pangalawa, do I intend to take undue advantage? If a cadet can answer no to both questions, he is not guilty of any honor violation. Ngunit kung hindi ka naman makakasagot ng hindi sa dalawang tanong na ito, wala kang karapatan upang matawag na marangal. Mr. President, if the Philippine Military Academy requires every cadet to answer 2 questions on the virtue of honor, shouldn't we ask ourselves if we all deserve the honor of serving our people in this chamber? Mr. President, when he spoke last February 21, 2026, during the PMA Alumni Homecoming where he was guest speaker, he declared, and I quote, "If the test of courage and loyalty transpires during times of danger, integrity is tested in positions of power and influence, especially when no one is looking." If it were so, Mr. President, then this is a powerful reminder that those who hold positions of authority must exercise them with fairness and fidelity. Yes, fidelity to the truth. Precisely because we possess influence, we bear a greater responsibility to ensure that we present to the public what we present to the public is complete, accurate, and not deliberately framed to mislead. Integrity, after all, Mr. President, is not proven by rhetoric, but by conduct. Ginoong Pangulo, ang katotohanan ay hindi maaring tabunan ng ingay. At ang paninindigan ay hindi maaring yurakan ng panlilinlang. Uulitin ko po, hindi po ako kailanman nagsulong ng pagsuko ng ating teritoryo. Ako'y naninindigan para sa malinaw, tapat at responsableng pagtalakay ng batas at ng ating pambansang interes. Sa harap ng baluktot na salaysay, ako'y nananatiling matatag sapagkat sa huli, ang katotohanan ay mananaig at ang taong bayan ay may karapatang malaman ng buong katotohanan, walang dagdag walang bawas, walang panlilinlang. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Yes, Senator Amy Marcos, you recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. It's simply by way of manifestation as a member of the Committee on Appointments. I was present during the hearing narrated by our colleague, Senator Marcoleta, and I vigorously attest and corroborate to the accuracy and truth of his statement of facts and the consequent misleading, whether carelessly or maliciously, interpretation that followed. Thank you.